Okay, here we have the Microsoft Lumia 650. This is the dual SIM. We're going to unbox it, check it out, go over all the specs, see how it works. All right, so first we'll take a look at the box here. Microsoft Lumia, this is the 650 as we mentioned, and it's the dual SIM, as you can see right there. Here's the back of the box. Now the 650 is sort of a, I don't want to say low end, it's more of a consumer, maybe even a business type phone, as opposed to say an enthusiast level phone like the 950 XL. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. Just cut this tab here. We'll slide it out. Okay. There is our phone. So first impressions, just holding it here. Just as soon as we open it, I gotta say it feels a lot like the Lumia 950 and the 950 XL. It's got that more thin, it's not as wide as say some previous our Lumia phones were. Now this is the 925, I believe. And you can see, of course, the screen here is smaller. This is 4.5 inch. This screen here is 5 inches. But you can definitely tell these are wider phones, the old Nokia Lumia phones. Even going on to like our 1520 here, it's much wider of a phone, whereas the 950 and the 650 here, they're more slim. So they should be easier to hold with one hand. And it's very, very light. It's even much lighter, you know, our 650 here than our 925 here, which of course, as you can tell, it's like half an inch smaller. All right, so this is your phone. Got a nice sort of a matte finish here on this. Gives you a little bit of grip, not a whole lot, but I do like the detailing around the edges here. That's nice. Now it's not, I don't think that's metal. I'm pretty sure that's plastic. It feels like plastic. And here on the bottom, you can see there's our charging or data port. That's a micro USB. A lot of the newer phones do have the C style, but this one still has the micro USB, so your old charging cable should work. And you can see how the buttons are here. Our power button. Now, one thing you'll notice is a lack of a dedicated camera button. I don't really like that. You know, I always like all my phones to have dedicated camera buttons, but this one does not have a dedicated camera button. We just have our power lock and our volume rocker right there. But a very nice phone. It looks very nice. It's very light. Feels pretty good. The back feels good. We have a, I believe that's an 8 megapixel camera right here. Our flash there. Nice screen, 5-inch screen. Front camera. Okay. And the processor in our Lumia 650 is actually a Snapdragon 212, which is a quad core. So that's pretty cool. Let's go ahead and continue with the unbox here. See what else we get. Flip this open. And here's our charging cable. As you can see, this is a fixed. It's not the kind that USB plugs into like an adapter, like a lot of them come with. This is a fixed, and that's our micro USB input there. That, of course, goes right into the bottom of the phone here to charge up, connect to your computer, whatever. So if we check the total length, we're coming in at about 39, 40 inches. So that should be plenty of length for you for most applications. Next, what do we have here? Oh, we have the battery. So we still have to place the battery in the phone. And of course, all your warning and startup information that you're going to need. Okay. So that is everything that is included. If I can open this up real quick. There you go. So hopefully you can see how to do that. You just snap the back off, put your battery in, and we're going to use a Nano SIM in here. And even though this phone has 16 gig of built-in memory, it has 1 gig of RAM, by the way, 16 gig of built-in memory, which is not a lot for today's cell phones. We can actually put a micro SD in here up to 200 gigs. So, you know, you're not going to have any problem with storage. You add another 16 gig in there for $4 or so, or you can go way up to 128 gig, 32 gig, whatever you want. All right. So that's all that stuff. And as we can see, our main camera, our flash, the audio connector, which I don't think I showed that, right there on the top, right there. Okay. Our earpiece, of course, is here. Front camera, our volume keys and power lock, which we've already gone over, a microphone down here, charging connector, which we've seen, and the speakerphone. That's the Lumia 650. Let's go ahead and put the battery in. All right, so to get to the battery, our micro SD slot, and our SIM card, we can just come down here close to this port. Now, it's not on the port. I'm not pulling on the port. It's just right here. I don't know if you can really see. Hopefully you can see there's a bit of an indentation right there. All right, so just pull on that and it snaps off. It's very thin. This back is very thin, so don't go pulling on that. You don't want to wreck your new phone. Of course, you can always use like one of those guitar pick style tools if you want. Very thin though, as you can see, extremely thin. If you happen to have a micro SD card, you place that right in here. Hopefully you can see, just follow the diagram and slide it in that direction. It'll fit right in there. You'll just push it in and lock it. And right here is our 2 SIM slots. Now, these are going to be Nano SIM, so you'll have to have a Nano SIM. Again, just follow the diagram. As you can see, it's showing you how to put your SIM in there. And this is SIM 1, and this here would be SIM 2. So just match up the directions and slide it in. But this one here is, yeah, I'll need to get this one here cut down. This is a micro SIM. We need a Nano SIM. You know, you could technically do this yourself by just cutting off this extra here, or go down to like your AT&T store or whatever. They should have a punch that just punches this right out, or you can even buy those on eBay, but we'll have to get that punched before we can actually put it in there. Let's go ahead and put the battery in there. You can see there's the connection. It connects right down here. Just slide it in like this. And there we go. There you go. You're good. And you put your back on. Of course, make sure you have your SIM in there. And if you want a micro SD, of course, then we will replace the back. Just snaps in there. Don't be too forceful, of course, because this back is very, very thin, and those connectors are fragile. All right. Just pop all these in. All right, so let's see if we can power it on. Yep, I felt the vibration feedback whenever we powered that on. We have our Microsoft logo there. Start up. Zoom in a little bit. There's our Windows logo. And of course, your first startup is going to take a little bit longer because we still have to set everything up. All right, so here we are at the initial setup screen. Of course, we don't have any SIMs in there right now. You can see hopefully those 2 logos right there. And I'll go ahead and set this up here. I'm going to go next, and I'll just go through all of this stuff. All right, and there we are. We have it all set up, and it responds pretty well. This is Gorilla Glass, by the way. As far as the display goes, you know, it looks pretty nice. It feels nice. It's really easy to use and hold in one hand, and it's not a very expensive phone either. And it's a pretty nice phone. Again, I really like that back. We got the nice Microsoft emblem there. Feels good. It's really easy to use, really easy to find your buttons here. Again, I kind of wish we had the dedicated camera button, but of course we can always hit camera right here and load us up into the app here. Of course, this is the first time I've launched this, so it's, you know, gonna take a little bit longer there, but there's, of course, the camera app. I'll take a couple pictures of it to throw in here, and I'll take a couple videos too. Just throw right in real quick. As far as the display goes, it's a nice display. It looks really good and really pleasing to the eyes. Again, this is a 5-inch display, Gorilla Glass. It is an HD display, but it's 1280 by 720, so it's not full HD. It's not 1920 by 1080, it's 1280 by 720. So this is true colors, 24-bit. It's an OLED, clear black, 297 ppi. Other features says that it's easy to clean, which it is. Automatic brightness control, sunlight readability enhancements, very nice touchscreen. It feels really good. It's really responsive. Hopefully you can see that there. And it operates pretty quickly thanks to that Qualcomm quad-core processor that we have in there. Again, 1 gig of RAM. One thing to take note of is our buttons here, our back buttons, our home buttons, our search button. Those are not on this bezel here, okay? Those are part of this screen here, so they should be adaptive, not on this screen, of course, but whenever we go to, let's try camera. Hopefully you can see how there are buttons here. They turn, you know, which is of course in contrast to, again, like this is our 925. You know, the buttons are right there. You can see them all the time. Same for our 1520 here, which, you know, they're right there all the time. So keep in mind the buttons are on the screen there. And if you ever need access to your buttons and they happen to disappear, just slide up there and they'll come right up for you. Okay. So very nice phone. I really, really like this phone. Of course, I've just opened it up out of the box, but just feeling it, just using it here for these few minutes, it's very responsive. I mean, look at that. 1 gig of RAM and a quad core processor. It would be nice if this was 2 gig, but 1 gig will get you pretty far. Should be able to play pretty much any game very easily. Maybe not as easily as a 2 gig or 4 gig, of course, but that quad core is very, very responsive. This is a pretty nice phone, a premium phone for not a premium price. And real quick here, since all of the measurements on the website are, of course, in millimeters, we're in America, of course, and most of us deal in inches. So just so everyone is 100% clear here, I have a total of about 5.5 inches in height, which would be 142 millimeters, and width, as you can see, it's almost 3, about 2 1/4, little more than 2 3/4, I guess. So that's 70.9 millimeters. All right, and it's 6.9 millimeters thick. It's a pretty thin phone. I mean, it's about as thin as our 925, but it's much, much lighter. I mean, we're talking 122 grams. So that's a very light phone, very easy to use. And because of the shape, this will be very easy to slide into any pocket, you know, your jean pocket, front pocket, whatever the case may be. I'm very impressed by this phone. I wouldn't call it a budget phone because it does not feel like a budget phone. You know, I've got a 520 or 521, and that would be a budget phone. This is definitely a premium feel for not the without the premium price. Definitely check this one out. And I really like the angling on this. You know, I'm usually a fan of square phones, but the way they've done this, it still feels really good to hold. You know, it's not rounded on the sides like they were doing for a while, like on the 925 and the 1520. I don't like these rounded edges. I like flat edges. They did a very good, very, very good job designing this phone. I mean, it's light. It feels good. If I didn't love larger screens, like I love larger screens, and nothing competes with this 6-inch screen. Even the 950, XL, in my opinion, I still like this phone better. But one thing I've always disliked about the 1520 is the rounded edges. Now, of course, you can't see because I have this giant case on it, but the edges are rounded, just like our 925. I really like the styling of this. This is much more like the 928, which I'm actually recording this video with a Lumia 928. And I always like the styling of that phone. And this phone is styled kind of like that, kind of like the Icon, I believe, as well. All right, so that's the Microsoft Lumia 650. I better stop talking about it because I could talk about this phone all day long. It's a really, really nice phone. Go check it out. Microsoft Lumia. This is the 650.